Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the launch of the Africa Readers Conference organized by Readers Africa. We shall be starting shortly. Thank you.
Hello. A good evening to everybody. Am I clear? Am I loud?
Yes, you are.
A good afternoon to everybody. My name is Belinda Amanda, and I'm going to be moderating for this session. So I'm kindly going to request Cohens. I'm kindly requesting Cohens to help us start with prayer as we open this session. Thank you. Hello.
Oh, sorry, Belinda, I couldn't get you. I think my network was breaking. Oh, I'm now back.
Good afternoon once again. I don't know whether I was heard. I don't know whether we got a connection issue to the African Leaders Conference launch. You're all welcome, feel at home, which I request.
Yeah, I think Cohen has a problem. if there's a possibility of calling another person to volunteer for a prayer, I think it would be a great idea.
Can I be heard?
Yes. Yes, you're audible.
Right. Thank you so much. Let's humble ourselves and pray. Merciful Father, I want to thank you for this time. We bless your name for you have accorded us life, even amid this crisis. Lord, we pray that as we gather in this launch, we call upon your shoes of connection and the rest, Father, King of glory. We know you are in control. Lord, as we continue to deliberate in this session, we pray that you bless this event, you bless the speakers, and give them your wisdom and understanding and the confidence from you. We pray and believe in the mighty name of Jesus Christ, our Lord.
Recording in progress.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are very sorry to lose the current moderator has very serious network issues, so I'm going to take over from here. My name is Joseph Tahinduka, and I'm going to take over from here. Thank you so much. I hope that everyone can hear me well. We shall start by continuing with the second item on the agenda. But first, I think it's extremely important that I welcome all of you to this launch. We hope not to take more than 30 to 40 minutes here. We understand you're busy people who could be having quite a number of things to attend to. I see there are wonderful people within the audience. I see Agatha Rachel, the leader of Readers Africa. I see Belinda Amanya, working with Debate Institute Africa. I see Cynthia Esther Pili, the leader of Rangers Book Club, the main and founding book club. I see Dr. Emmanuel, an enthusiastic reader. I see Jacqueline Asimwe, she's the CEO of SeedSource, an NGO that is revolutionizing philanthropy. You're extremely welcome. I see Joseph Wokorash. Joseph Wokorash heads the DCA poetry. They are doing wonders and wonders and wonders. I will only announce those that have their names. We could encourage you to introduce yourself just in case. Just rename yourself to your name. Then I see Ojara Caesar, you're welcome. I see Samuel Awani, you're very welcome. I see Simon Peter Chair, you're extremely welcome. I see Moses Tenyo. Moses Tenyo was the first here around 20 minutes ago. He was really here in time. I see the D. So thank you so much for coming for this launch. And at this point in time, I'm going to lay out the kind of speeches that we're going to be having. One, we're going to start with sharing about the history of Readers Africa as an initiative, and that, yeah, some people who have a video on, it would be advisable to turn off those videos such that probably we have better network. All right, thank you so much. So we will start with an understanding of the history of Readers Africa as an institution. That is going to be given by Mudisha Cohen. All right, then we shall go ahead to receive the strategic plan of Readers Africa, and that will be by Joseph Oduro from Ghana. And then we shall move to a brief about the conference. I will do that together with Agatha, and then we shall have questions and answers and submissions from all of you. And after that, we shall have closure of this launch. All right, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for tallying here with me. I am now going to invite Mr. Cohen to enlighten us about the history of Readers Africa. You only have 6 minutes, and after that, we shall receive the next speaker. Cohen, the floor is.
Okay, Joseph, thank you so much. I pray that you can allow me to share a screen shortly, if that is possible, so that I'll be able to capture.
Yeah, you are now allowed. You could just do it. I don't know whether you find it possible now.
Okay. Okay. All right, I want to welcome everyone here, and my name is Cohen Zunisha, and I'm so much pleased.
Yes, Cohen, we can hear you and we're seeing your screen, though nothing specifically, but I guess you're still sharing the screen, but you can be heard, please. Mr. Cohen, I do not know whether you still belong here. Okay, it's particularly looks Cohen has left the call. All right, again, I welcome you to the launch of the Africa Readers Conference, and it looks Cohen's Modisha has gone off. I think I'm going to call Agatha Rachel to shine a small light. Oh, he's back.
I'm back,
oh,
okay.
Cohen, yeah, I had rescheduled your presentation. All right, you're welcome.
All right, so let's continue on our journey the Readers Africa journey. I am Cohen Zumgisha, and I serve as the Capacity Building Africa at Readers Africa. And now going forward, we need to know our birth, and then when were we born? We were born last year. We were established on the 24th of June 2020. And that tells you automatically that we are 1 year and 3 weeks old. And congratulations to us. It's not too late to send us birthday gifts as Readers Africa. Going forward, we need to know who are we. So Readers Africa, you can just define it in 3 basic things. That Readers Africa is 1, a community of young Africans. Yes, we also have the old, as people will call it, a negation of the negation, but we are a community of young Africans. But 2, important to know who we are, is that we are not only young Africans, but with a lot of potential. And then 3, we have this big vision. The community of young Africans with a lot of potential have a vision to nurture the African dream with a unique identity by fostering reading skills among African communities. And that is who we are. Going forward, we have ourselves that we have grown from last year up to now. We have
I have to listen to the class.
And we are one big family with 10 cells or chapters called Rangers Book Clubs. So from the time we were referred to as Book Rangers because Rangers is our mother. And later we were established as an independent entity with specific objectives, principles, and of course, vision under the Rangers, debate Rangers. So we are one big family with 10 cells or chapters called Rangers Book Clubs. And as you may see, we have 5 country chapters. That is very awesome across Africa. That includes Uganda, that includes Zimbabwe, we have Ghana, we have South Africa. So those are the 5 country chapters. But also we have institutional chapters. As of now, we have university chapters. But in our vision and big strategic plan, we plan to reach out to even lower institutions like secondary schools and primary schools. So as of now, we wanted to start with these big change agents, and these are 5 universities so far. We have, for example, we have Makerere University in Uganda, we have Chambogo University, we have Mbara University of Science and Technology, we have University of Kwame Nkrumah University in Ghana. We also have, I think, another university in Ghana. So we have 2 universities in Ghana. So that tells you how big we are growing, even with 1 year and 3 weeks that we have turned up now. Now, going forward, we have also been engaging in a number of activities that are not only restricted to reading, but also including training, because we believe that we must build capacity, we must encourage and inspire young Africans to read. And we have engaged in several activities of book reading and book discussions. When you visit our website, it's when you realize that we have just done a number of books in all these chapters. And we have received testimonies, and we are seeing the African dream really in queue. And we believe that we shall make it there. So not going far, as I end this presentation, I would like to let you know of 3 basic things that we have principles, one that is philosophical on reading, that reading is a necessary skill that we can ignite and also use to lift other abilities in life and life skills. But 2, in the academic sphere, we also believe that it's important that, it has been a very big misconception and myth about reading, that we take it as a duty or at times as a punishment and a thing maybe for those that are interested in literature. But to us as Readers Africa and Rangers through our clubs, we believe that we want to help the students and the young African generation to reflectively read and be able to comprehend and go on to use this knowledge and skill to be able to solve societal problems. But lastly, not the least, is that we are also looking at the key outcome, that in this kind of sense, we must try to make reading a very interesting thing to the young generation, so that even as they pursue this cause, they will be able to know that they are doing it for a purpose, and therefore will go on to entice and let others know, and the whole of Africa, that reading is really a big tool that we can use to cause a robust change and in achieving and nurturing the African dream. I beg to stop here and thank you so much for listening. For more, I think you'll be able to visit us on Facebook at Readers Africa, on Twitter, still Readers Africa, and on our website, www.readersafrica.org. You will have just more, and we are always there to respond, and we welcome you to our family. I wish you the very best.
Thank you so much, Cohen, for shining a light on the history of Readers Africa and where we have come from, and also a light on where we're going. I received information that Joseph Oduro from Ghana may not be with us, and I'm going to call forth Agatha Akulu to shine a light on our strategic plan as Readers Africa. Thank you so much, Cohen, for giving that brief about our history and our future. Agatha Akulu, she's a leader. She has done quite a lot of work in this area. She's an author, a very fantastic poem, and one of the greatest this generation will see. So Agatha, I would like to welcome you to the stage.
Yeah, thank you so much, Coach and Cohens. Let me take this time to welcome everyone for coming for this particular launch. Yeah, so just maybe to add on what Cohens has already said, our strategic plan as Readers Africa, first and foremost, our slogan is read, dream, and lead. So we not only look at nurturing readers, but also leaders. Yeah, so, and also like, of course, inculcating a sound reading culture for holistic growth is what basically what makes us proud. So our vision as Readers Africa is basically to establish a sustainable, high quality and accessible book reading programs for all age brackets. At the moment, we already have our libraries. If you go to our website, you can easily download a book. Yes. And also if you go to our Telegram channel, you can request for any book. And of course, you'll be given. And also still in our Rangers book clubs, we have the presidents. If you request for any book that you want, as long as it is not a paid for book, yeah, you can be given. And that is what we're looking at. And of course, like by 2031, we aim at having a Readers Africa whereby we have not just a virtual library, but an independent big library where every African can easily access, go and borrow books, read and return. Yeah, and of course, our mission is to foster reading skills in African communities as a springboard for empowering potential change agents in the African soil, because we believe that we become the books that we read. The books have the power to transform someone. And that is why we basically try to emphasize more, like when we're reading books, it is just not that we're going to be reading the romantic books. We look at the inspirational texts, the books that can really widen someone's mind. Yeah. So in our strategic plan, we have we want to establish a publishing plan for our writers. Yes, we have the Rangers book clubs for readers, but also at the same time, we do have Readers Africa, whereby we have different writers, the article writers, we have the poets, and most times we, of course, we always publish their work on our social media handles, on our blogs, but that is not enough. So in future, we hope to have a publishing plant where everyone can easily access Yeah, because most of the publishing plans that we have actually exploitative. Most of them are, they just look at exploiting the young budding writers. Yes, and also like, of course, to raise a generation of purpose-driven youth, people who not just think of themselves, but who can be in position to dream for the all Africa. Thank you so much. I will beg to stop here. I'm going to come back in the next presentation.
Agatha, thank you so much for shining a light on the essence of what we do as future and what we look at doing. Oh my God, I cannot wait for when we shall have a publishing plant and we are publishing the works of poets like Herman, poets like David, at just a subsidized cost that is basic and can facilitate anyone who wants to get their work out there. We can't wait for the time when every second school will have a book reading club, which is like a scripture union where people meet every week and they divide into groups and read. Not reading because there is an exam, but reading because they love it. It's going to be an amazing future. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be handling information about what the conference is about. And just a minute, let me project something on the screen that is extremely. I want to have faith that there is something you're seeing on the screen. So, what is the Africa Readers Conference? I want to start philosophically. Around, I think it's like 200 years ago, there was what was called the Berlin Conference, where European countries sat to decide the fate of Africa. They sat and said, you know what, Uganda belongs to me. They say Kenya will belong to me for these very many years. But the purpose of conferences is that they are agenda setting conferences. So this Africa Readers Conference is going to be a conference which shall want to define the direction of which reading narrative should take in Africa. We think that in Africa is where it is because the African mind is enslaved. The African mind does not know which honey they should take up. They even hate honey. I'm just trying to talk about knowledge. Meet a child of 10 years and ask them how many books they have read, and they will tell you interesting things which obviously cannot help. So my contention is as simple as this. It's that Africa needs to wake up and make reading a normal culture. If you remember recently, Elon Musk in an interview was extremely clear. He said that I read my way into building rockets. Reading is fundamental to any person who wants to become revolutionary. There is a very direct correlation between reading and leading. And to that extent, we are dreaming for Africa that there is going to be a time when people read for fun, when people are hungry for knowledge, when people are hungry to develop their intellect. Because for any society to go to where it should be, the right intellectual foundations must be built. And one of the ways through which they are built is through reading. Imagine we had engineers who were not just reading to pass the exam, but were reading to understand engineering. To understand engineering. Assuming such engineers become unstoppable. Imagine we had teachers who simply wanted to read because they like it, not because they have a standardized test at the end of the day, because they simply want to read and understand what teaching is, what their calling is. Imagine we had young Africans who wants to enrich their Pan-African fabric, and they're simply reading Pan-African literature, understand their roots. Which kind of Pan-Africanists would they be? Imagine we had doctors who were simply reading to ensure they can find a solution for humanity, not because there is a standardized test at the end of the day. So in Africa, we have been taught that we only read for the exam. And that is the principle. I remember when I was in school, to me, even after I would finish my exams, I would go back to the library because reading was the issue of the exam. So we need to create this future where we read as a people because we want to, not because we are being forced to. Such people are the people who are innovative, because the more you look out for information, the more that information enriches you and makes you a person who is able to make a contribution to society. So what is going to be the buy-in? The buy-in is participating in this dream enables millions of children in Africa, but most importantly, starting from Uganda and Ghana, to access reading clubs. That means all our efforts are going to be towards planting reading clubs such that they can motivate people to read. But most importantly, even after they have read and they feel like they can produce knowledge, they can also write and we get them published. So that is how our dream is simple. This conference will be an agenda setting conference for such a dream. So what is going to be the buy-in for some partners who may want to partner? So we'll have a number of activities, as Agatha will reiterate. We want to get this conference moving to as very many communities as possible. If you are good at watching World Bank summits, it's a summit where the president of the World Bank noted that in as much as education is reaching developing countries, we are still experiencing high levels of learning poverty. People are going to school, but school is not going into them because they go there for the very wrong purpose, which is simply get the grades to probably find employment. I'm not saying school is not important. I'm just saying that if you go to school and school does not go through you and you have the urge to know just because you want to better the society, then you have not really gotten the objective of education itself. If you remember very well from the very roots of the word of education, it's from a Greek word which is called to educe, to bring out the best out of someone. Therefore, if we are only looking at standardized testing and only focusing on such a metric, then we are just throwing this entire continent into the trap of people reading just for the test. Yet they could read to change the world. They could read to become the very best versions of themselves. And at the end of the day, they also pass standardized testing. But standardized testing doesn't become the metric in and of itself. So that is the future we are looking at. So any partners who come on board will get the leverage to be publicized along this stream. They will get an opportunity to share in this dream of extending accessible book reading programs to the African communities. Then the contacts, in case you want to buy, you want to come as a partner. I understand there's some partners here. You could feel free to reach out on the contact on the poster, but I think Agatha is also going to read it out again, or you could reach out to either me also, that is with 078-393-8868. For those outside the country, you can use the +256 code, or 078-393-8868. So that is the entire spirit behind the Africa Readers Conference. And of course, Agatha is going to shine some light on what exactly that conference is going to have in specifics. By specifics, I mean what it is going to have in terms of activities. Thank you so much. And I think it's at this point that I will call Agatha forth to shed a light on the kind of activities which we shall be indulging in this very conference. Agatha Akulu, I think you could take the floor. After Agatha, we shall be receiving questions and answers from you in case you have any questions. Agatha? All right, it looks Agatha is not necessarily here. Okay, but I think she's going to get back. I see a hand from Derek. but Agatha could be returning, of course. It's just in a second. Don't worry. I think she just got off, but she's returning. But I think right now we're going to be receiving questions and answers. Then Agatha comes in and takes us through the activities. Derek, you have a question? The floor is yours.
Okay, for me. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Am I being heard? Okay. My question is not so big, simple. But first of all, good afternoon, everyone. I'm called Derek. I'm from Rangers Union Group. So my question is, it's a kind of question or try to help me somewhere there. I have a problem when I started adapting reading some time back, but the problem there are sometimes when you read, but you have a problem of persistency on what you read. Are you getting me?
Yes, we
Hello?
are. Yes, we are. We can hear
Okay.
you.
Okay, you have a problem of persistency on what you read. On how on to read and then persist on reading. You read for several times. You keep reading every now and then, every now and then. Read this book, read the other book, read this book, read the other book. I have that problem because I was reading when I was in my form 6, finishing there. That's when I had started adapting reading until today. But the problem, I have a problem on persistency. That's my kind of question that needs a solution. If anyone is there to help me.
Okay, thank you so much, Derek, for that concern.
Okay.
You really joined. I think there's a lot of background. Derek, could you unmute? Let me get you up. Okay, good. So, of course, and that's the entire purpose of reading clubs. For those of you who belong to Christian communities, we encourage people to join fellowships because fellowships act as accountability places where people can exert mutual accountability between themselves. So that's also the entire essence of book reading clubs, because once you're in a book reading club and you feel like you have a problem with reading any particular thing, you now tap into the spirit of assimilating into an already existing structure. That way you learn from how other people are doing. And anywhere around the world, these problems are there. So this problem is not necessarily unique to you. I think it cuts across quite a number of landscapes of reading. And I would advise you're doing a book reading club, but also this particular dream seeks to create an opportunity for people who are just starting to read to have the love for reading. And this particular conference will look at how to create a number of opportunities such that people can have accessible book reading programs. I don't know whether Agatha is back. Looks she is not yet back. Okay, we shall receive questions and answers, and people from Readers Africa are going to be responding to question at a time. Questions, submissions, you're welcome. You could raise up your hand and we'll pick you up. Any questions, any submissions? Okay, I see Peter Aine raising up their hand. Peter Aine, if you don't mind, you could unmute and submit to us, please. Peter Aine, former head prefect of Tale School and a very great African visionary. Your hand is up. Please unmute and speak to us.
Hello.
Yes, Peter.
Yes.
Yes, you are in now.
Thank you so much, Mr. Joseph. I just have a few questions. Since we are Readers Africa, I just wanted to see how the correlation of the Readers Africa brings in the publishing plant. Does that mean that we are enabling people to become readers who can also write? And if that's the case, what is the inbuilt strategy within Readers Africa to see that the writings or the people who are within whatever content they come up with can be used to generate resources which can be used by schools and the community? And what security measures have we put in place to see that their intellectual property is protected from patenting, copywriting, and those who are able to write even beyond poetry and maybe community transformation knowledge, those who can write maybe in theories regarding science and innovation? What strategies or what kind of measures are we putting in place to see that we have an all-inclusive kind of platform where readers are being transformed into writers maybe, and then if they are being transformed into writers, now how do we materialize this into a product that can go to the market even beyond the continent? So I think that is my question. You can enlighten me on that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Peter, for the question. And we are writing down these questions. I think let me take let's take like 4 questions, and I think we can respond to them at once. Any other question that is on the floor? Any other question, friends, that is on the floor?
Yeah, there is a hand from Derek. Someone, Derek, I think.
Yeah, Derek had a hand before. I don't know whether this is the second time, but Derek, if it's another
I just
question,
saw something
please.
in the chat box.
Okay, sure. Let me follow up. Oh, amazing. We see Nathan Kaiser saying he would be interested in pioneering starting of clubs in Chisoro. Nathan, we need to take your contact because we need as many people on this dream as possible, so such that people in the communities of Africa can access book reading clubs. We have a guide on how you can start book reading clubs and how you can sustain them, and we take you through training on how that can happen. So Nathan Keja, Modisha Cohens, I request that you follow up with Nathan Keja to ensure we can get his contact, not her contact.
I think
if there are
on
no more
that,
questions, yes, please.
just a simple thing. We are working on some registration form that we'll share with you, our dear participants. So I'll be sharing the link shortly in the chat room so that at any time we can know who has attended, so that it will be easy for us to follow up with you. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Cohens. We look forward to that. All right, I think I'm going to like call someone to speak to us. I think to be like the second last submission, and that's going to be Jacqueline Asimwe. Jacqueline Asimwe is the CEO of CivSource and the leader of the East African Philanthropy Network. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence and supporting this initiative. We wanted to give you an opportunity to talk to us. We do not know whether you are willing. Jacqueline, Miss Jacqueline, do you want to
To talk about what, my dear?
Just to talk to us, greet us. Do you
Anyhow.
have anything to do with what we have just talked about?
Good afternoon, everybody that is here. I am honored to be here. I am a passionate reader, and I also I'm also passionate that people read. I think one of the things that helped when I was growing up was I remember, in fact, my very first act of philanthropy is related to reading. When I was in my primary school, part of my studies were done in Canada. My father is a reverend, and he was doing his master's at that time, so the whole family had traveled. And I think it was P3, P4, around there, my school had a fundraising drive where children were supposed to raise money to help in research and treatment of a disease called multiple sclerosis. And the way that we were to raise money was that each child was charged with reading 10 books. And from the 10 books, you would then, book you read, you would raise money. And that money then was, put towards that cause. So it's very interesting that yeah, my journey into philanthropy is actually through reading. And One of the other things, growing up, when we finally came back to Uganda, we were too poor to afford a TV. And so if you were not playing, the only other way to entertain yourself was to read a book. And so that too cemented my passion for reading. And so I've been a lifelong reader. I do hear, was he Derek who asked about consistency? Indeed, sometimes it can be a struggle. Last year especially was one of those times that I struggled reading. Last year I turned 50 and I had purposed to read 50 books, but I only got through 14. And I struggled with that. I struggled to read, maybe partly because of all the chaos that was going on, but I don't want to externalize it and make it an excuse. And so this year, one of the things that I did that has helped me was that I purposed and I planned. So this year I planned my life in threes. So I will do 3 days of exercise in a week. I will drink 3 liters of water. My other 3 was that I will do 3 hours of reading. Now, how do I do it? When I wake up in the morning, and one of the powerful books that I read is the 5 a.m. Club. So it helped me get into this practice, is that I wake up early and read for 1 hour. And then during the day, I try and find another hour to read. And then like clockwork, every day before I sleep, I read for 1 hour. And because of that consistency, we are at July 17th. I've read 40 books this year so far. And so it is being purposeful and planning to read. And I am not, work and these other things that we do. My passion in terms of giving is towards especially young people that are encouraging reading and literacy among children. And so one of the charities that I contribute to that I'm passionate about is 40 Days Over 40 Smiles, is abbreviated 4040. They too are encouraging especially reading among slum children. They actually got together and one of them wrote little stories, and we would go into Chikuba Mutwe, which is in Muyenga, and we'd have an afternoon with one of the schools there and just read with the kids. And I think part of it is just making it fun, dramatizing it, having children role play the book that they are reading and all those things. And I do believe indeed, as we believe here, that leaders actually should read. And I'm ending. One of the things that we do at CivSource, and I've told people, if you are on my team, you must be a reader. I cannot stand the story of I can't read, I'm not a reader. So one of the ways to encourage my team to read is that every Thursday for the last 3 years, we have read a book together. By that, I mean, we pick a book and then every Thursday we discuss a chapter. And the way to get everybody on the team to read is to ensure that each one of us discusses a chapter. So that's another way to encourage. And I'm like, if that is the only thing I'll ever do at CivSource, i.e. produce readers, even if one staff member says, I used not to read, but now I read at least one book a year, for me, that is a win. And so there's so many ways to encourage reading. And there's so many opportunities to support a reading culture in Uganda and across Africa. And so I celebrate this effort. I celebrate you guys that have started this vision, and I know it's going to transform Africa. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Jackie Simwe, for taking off time to inspire this vision. May the Lord bless you. The seeds you've just sowed in our heads will surely be eternal. Thank you so much. All right, I'm going to do the very last thing on the agenda, such that we could close this meeting at exactly 15 minutes past. The Africa Readers Conference is going to have a number of activities, and one is going to be the Authors Roundtable. The Authors Roundtable is going to be a high-level panel discussion on the current trends of book authorship and what trends might emerge in the future, such that African young authors especially can tap into such trends or even keep natural and create just trends which can stay. Then we shall look at which was the best book club of the year. The book club under Readers Africa, which read the most books and had the best progress. That is going to be the second thing. All right, then we're going to have a book reading innovations roundtable where we talk about how we can innovate as a people in reading such that we can become very, very, very good readers as a people. All right, there is a link which has been shared just in the inbox. Make sure you register before you leave. We want to keep in touch with you and call you for the grand conference. All right, the third thing is that we're going to have keynote addresses from a number of people. One, we shall hear from Agatha Rachel Akulu, who is an author already and the leader of Readers Africa. We shall have Paula Otikule, the founder of Mola Africa Literature Awards. We shall have Ronald Sekaja Kasirivu, the president of the Poets Association of Uganda. We shall have Christian Elong, the CEO of Mona Kalati Ghana. We shall have Murunji Bonita, a very young teenager who has written 4 books in Uganda, and many other people. We shall also have various poetry performances about reading. So my hope, ladies and gentlemen, is that you will keep a part of this dream such that on 8th September, we could start a journey of dealing with learning poverty in the African communities. Again, we want to thank you for having come for the launch of this conference. We appreciate that you came to this conference, and we want to thank you so much for coming, and we encourage you to register so that we can keep in touch. On your screen, you are seeing how the conference is going to be. All right, how the conference is going to be and which initiatives are going to be in the conference. Otherwise, in case there are no more questions, I want to say that I have been glad to be a host this very evening, and I am Joseph Gracious Nahinduka, Hassan of Africa. If there are any questions, we could be glad to receive. Yes, Cohen, you have an administrative announcement. Please carry on.
Thank you so much. Our link is out for registration, so it's in the chat room. You can just check it out to register. But maybe before we go and maybe have other questions, I want to just give a highlight on part of what Aine Peter asked. One was on what efforts are being done, to make sure the integration of the 4 basic language skills are developed. Because at Readers Africa, we believe that it's very important that you not only read, but for you to be able to be a very pronounced leader, you must also have prowess in other language skills like speaking, like listening as well. So at the end of the day, that is why we have, for instance, these book discussions, that when you read as an individual, you come and share orally with the group. So at the end of the day, someone who was too timid not to share the ideas, at the end of the day, if you read so much and you knew so much, but you don't have the confidence to share what you have read and inspire people and bring developmental ideas, then it doesn't add up. So that holistic reader is who we intend really to build. And we believe all people have capacity to do something. That also through these book discussions, we realize that there are people, who tell you it's difficult for me to read, okay, but how best do I engage in book reading activities? So those that have read and have good narrative skills, come and tell. And then if you have the good listening skills, I've seen guys who narrate texts, okay, as if they have read every detail of it when they have just heard from others. So it's not that we want maybe to say everyone can relax, but at the end of the day, we believe that once you came as a good listener and you have listened to these stories and sharings, you will be motivated to go on and read and discover more. 2, it was on, the platforms and, publishing. At this stage in our strategic plan, we intend to have a publishing house, but apparently what we are doing is that one, we use our blogs to publish someone's work, but when it comes to intellectual property policies and the rest, we are also in queue to do that. What we are doing right now is that we are in partnership, or we reach out to different established publishing houses and liaise with them to be able to see that our readers and those passionate writers have their works published. For instance, we've had many of our people and young Africans, get published in certain newspapers. We have Mount Kenya that, we have seen our very own feature almost on a weekly basis. We have other magazines where we have our very own, have submitted their works and they are being published. So that is one of the things that we are doing now, but we are also trying to see how best we can sync into the system and have our established publishing policy that also correlates with intellectual property policies. I think that's it, and we can continue to engage on some of these, and if you have any ideas, you could really share. And please, it is very key that as much as we go into reading, we not only read for the sake of reading, but read reflectively and be able to share this knowledge with those that really want it, because I'm sure there are very many out there. Thank you.
All right, Cohens, thank you so much for shining a light on that. I think there is a book Karango or announcement for Honorable Rhoda Kalema's book coming out very soon. And Miss Jackie Asimwe says that her story is worth reading. I encourage all of us to sign that form, that form which you have just seen in the inbox, such that we could, interact with you. And remember when we said you want to partner with us, we are saying, for example, can you start a book reading club? You yourself could start a book reading club or encourage schools in your community to have reading clubs. You could encourage people to supervise reading clubs. You could provide resources. You could enhance narratives around reading. So partnership should not be looked at in the other sense. It could also mean availing resources, but we want you to understand that partnering with us particularly means a couple of things. All right, I would like to thank you for being a part of us. And from me and Belinda, who got a little bit of a problem, we have been happy to host you for this very 1 hour. Of course, we are Africans and we always keep time. So we are going to stop here and wish you a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for being around. Let's wait for the D-Day.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Jackie. Thank you, Yayesu. Akeloan Priska, that we are glad you are here. Atwine, thank you so much. We have